Hey everybody, and welcome back to more Dicing with Death. Georg, you are being accompanied, let's say, because you're not being forced,
Of course not.
with Bob and with Sir Lydia.
Escorted, if you will.
That's the right way to put it. Escorted to the estate, the manor house, which is a few miles out of town.
Ooh, good thing I brought my walking stick.
Do you bring all of your gear?
I think I had it on. Yeah, I think I went out in the morning with all my stuff.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Yep. Yep. I
Okay.
don't know if it's that. I got a scroll case. Yeah, I got a spell book in a backpack.
Sir Lydia rides a horse.
But I think it's a rather empty backpack, so hopefully it's not too obvious. Sir Lydia rides a horse. Sorry for.
Yeah. Sir Lydia rides a horse. The other two of you walk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you head to the estate. It's as I said before, a 2 mile journey through kind of the rolling plains. There's a trail that leads that way with some deep wagon ruts on either side of it. The path, it's definitely not a road, is fairly obvious and straightforward. You got fairly tall grass on either side of the trail, sometimes growing in the middle of the trail, but just kind of rolls off into the hills. And 45 minutes later or so, you find yourself approaching the keep, which is really a motte and bailey. You've got a nice palisade wall in a three-quarter circle, um, and then the wall leads up this conical hill to another three-quarter circle palisade wall with a small building, like a three-story building on it. You notice in the lower section where the bigger palisade wall is, there's some rooftops that you can see over the wall, and there's a ditch out in front of the wall. The ditch doesn't seem to have any water. And there is a single covered, it's not even a tower, it's just like a slightly raised section in front of the wall near the gate, where there's a man standing covering his eyes. As the three of you approach the motte and bailey, there's a little bridge that crosses the pit, the trench, and the man from up high waves down and says, "Ah, Sir Lydia, what brings you here today? Is it time already?" And she replies I'm sorry, it's a woman, not a man. She replies to the middle-aged woman, "Yes, these are the men that we've been brought for questioning."
This is Sir Lydia speaking.
Sir Lydia speaking to the gatekeeper, who she refers to as Sir Crystal.
Another night.
Yes.
This place is crawling with them.
Yes. Anyway, Sir Crystal, again, female. Don't forget that for you viewers, Sir refers to a knight, whether male or female. Sir Crystal comes down, opens the doors for you guys, and the three of you walk in. The motte and bailey is not... It's seen better days, let's put it. You've got housing for probably 20 people, like 20 soldiers and some other assistants in the area, but you see a lot less than that walking about.
I stride through the keep, the motte and bailey. I guess not the keep yet. We're in in the grounds or whatever. But I stride through inspecting the construction. It sounds like it doesn't look good. Plenty of
the wall seems
improvements to be made.
The wall seems pretty good, but the buildings, a lot of them seem like they've fallen to disuse and lack of repair. One of the roofs is slightly bent. It's not collapsed in, but you can see where maybe a board has broken, and the roof is kind of sagging here. Another one looks like the windows have been broken off or the corner damaged here or there. They look like they've seen better days. Anyway, Sir Lydia, Bob, and yourself walk up the trail through the little courtyard area and up the hill to the actual keep itself, which is also made out of wood, no stone here. You are brought inside and asked to wait outside of the chamber room. There we go. A few moments pass, and the large door creaks open, and you guys are brought into the chamber, the audience room. It is dimly lit with just some light coming in from some high windows up above. And there, on a slightly raised dais, sitting in a fairly large throne that has kind of wooden spikes coming off of the back of it, as if they were as if it was like a palisade chair in the back with nice wooden areas in front, sits a younger man. He's leaned forward, one elbow on a knee, his hand resting in his head resting in his hand. He's got a scruffy but shortly trimmed black beard. He's fairly short, probably 5'4", 5'5", and a little bit on the heavy side. He wears no crown about his head, but he does have some, traipsings of nobility across his chest, some nice golden decorations on his clothes. You notice his arms have bands around them as well. He has 2 rings, one on each hand. And he looks at the 3 of you and says, "So, you're the 2 that said you were attacked by gnolls." Bob nods.
With all due respect, my lord, we were attacked by gnolls. I bear the blood and the bruises.
How do I know that's not pig's blood?
I was considering thinking, what is this guy? What is this guy's angle? It's blood. Why, your lordship? What reason would I have to lie about this?
To draw my men out into the field where they can be cut to ribbons.
Ooh, this guy's paranoid. I like him.
Or perhaps to just draw them away from my keep so you can finish the job.
My lord, I have no stake in this matter. I'm a traveling engineer. I've seen many lands, and
An engineer, you say? Do you know how to build a ballista?
I tilted my head curiously, because why? I just repaired one in Thornwood not 1 week prior. Why would you ask?
Because we need a wizard, but a ballista might do.
I paused, taken aback. A wizard, you say?
He looks over to Bob and says, "You there, you pathetic fellow. What about your story?" Bob goes, "Well, my lord, I'm from our town. I'm from Misty Rapids myself. My family's been here a dozen generations back. We were on our way to Thornwood to trade our grain. When the gnolls attacked, they took our donkeys with all of our grain. They butchered my family, stabbed him up against a tree. My brother, well, he was wounded and he tried to crawl away, but a man came and killed him, ripped open his chest and pulled out his intestines. He did the same to the gnolls too."
I nod. I say, I too saw a man among the gnolls. A knight, a warrior, in dark armor, maybe green or black, and a sword of bone. It was horrifying to see a man mingle with such beasts.
He asks you
the
to,
things he did.
you know,
Yeah.
give as much description on who this person is as possible. And we don't have to go through the details, but he grills you
I don't
on
really. Yeah, I get
things.
lost in the other details. I'm like, I don't know. It was so fast, and I got hit in the head, and it was bloody, and I just got a glimpse of him.
Okay. When you guys have told your
I don't recount
stories,
the story.
he looks to Sir Lydia and goes, "And you, Sir Knight, what would you have me do about this? I don't have the men to patrol the roads. Why don't you go ask the Countess? She might have more troops to spare. You know our situation here is dire." Um, the knight just bows and humbly says, "Of course, your lordship." Uh, and then he dismisses the three of you. As you
Yeah,
get
I
up
was
to
like,
go, he says, "Not you there,
yeah, I've started to back out, and I was
engineer."
planning to have a word with him at the end, but I'll let him command me to stay.
What,
I pause and lean.
engineer, what is your name?
Carl, if it pleases my lord.
Carl?
I
Stay, I would speak with you a moment.
I nod. Are we in like a great hall or something?
Yeah,
Like a large room, but no one is in
it's a
it
great
save him.
hall that's not so great. It's like, you know,
The dimensions aren't great, or it's
the
just never
dimensions
crummy.
aren't great. It's the equivalent of a great hall, but it's kind of short. It's like 30 feet front to back, 20 feet wide.
Hmm. Is there a door behind me? A double door, or just
A
like
single
a?
door, a large arched single door is what you came in
Okay.
through.
Well, I let it close
Okay.
as Sir Lydia and Bob
You notice that
depart.
standing next to Sir Nikon Song, which is his name, is another, at this point you're presuming, knight. Um, this one is a man, also middle aged, but he's huge. He's over 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds. He wears chainmail armor and has a beautiful. Well, I guess you can only see the scabbard, but a beautiful bluish steel scabbard with some sort of green scales wrapped around the top and the bottom of it. It's
Yeah,
this
I had
shining
planned on
hilt.
saying something to the Lord, but I think my gaze gets stuck on that apparently magic blade.
Hmm. Anyway, the
Um,
Lord says, "Engineer,
I
we
look up.
have a problem. I
I
cannot go pay the respects to my ancestors that they so well deserve. A pair of gargoyles have situated themselves on the barrows. I have sent my best knight to deal with it, but they ripped him to shreds. I was hoping to find a wizard coming through town in order to have him dispatch these beasts. But I wonder if a ballista aimed at one of the creatures would do them well. The sword may bounce off their scales, but a ballista, a tree trunk lobbed at them at incredible speeds, nothing can survive that. What say you?"
I know not for your roads, but your keep will certainly be safer with a ballista. I can build it for you. Um, I presume you have the wood
We have peasants that can get wood for us.
and labor. I nod. Yes, my lord.
Excellent.
It can be done.
Excellent.
Gargoyles, you said.
And it will have wheels, so we can wheel it out to the barrows. They're many miles from here.
Sure, sure.
And you can hit a target from range, not due to have those beasts fly over to us. We must be sure to
They
strike
fly.
a blow.
This all took quite a turn that Garrett wasn't really expecting. Here, I thought I was brought up here to get hung like a witch, and this kooky guy and his gargoyles. What did this lord say his name was, or did he not?
Nikon Song.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the knight.
No,
Okay.
Nokin. Sorry, Nokin Song. There we go.
Mm. I'll get started right away.
Okay. As you start kind of fumbling in your mind about these details,
Mm-hmm.
he looks you up and down and says, "How do I know I can trust you? That you're not some sort of spy? Who agrees to work without first negotiating payment?"
I I merely assumed that you were good for it, my lord. I, I
Hmm. Okay.
eyes me suspiciously.
Where did you learn the art of siegecraft?
Across the sea, in the east.
You've come a long way. What brings you to Arcadia?
I am but a young man. I still have much to learn in the ways of the world. I completed my university studies, read every book in the library.
Hmm.
So
A well-lettered man.
I nod.
I wish
There are
my
there are things to
people,
learn which cannot be learned, and I'm sorry for interrupting, your lordship.
more people should be lettered. Get on with your work then. And he hustles you out.
Ooh,
Okay.
short-tempered and suspicious, and short, and just plain short.
And just short, yeah.
Did he say he himself was armored or armed?
No, he was not armed or armored, but his bodyguard was. Okay.
Yeah, I back out of the room and look up how I actually build one of these suckers. Ballista. Wait, defending type protection. It might be under engineering in the HB, not under the ballista stats.
Okay. Hmm.
Oh, so I think I get my way back into town, or am I staying in the keep until?
No, you're gonna have to stay in town. They don't have room for. Unless you ask for room here.
No, but yeah.
You find Bob and Lydia waiting for you outside. They walk with you back. Bob stays on the other side of Lydia from you the whole time
Okay,
and
I'm
casts dirty,
standing up.
suspicious glances at you.
I'm standing up, much taller after that conversation.
Okay.
Feeling pretty good about myself. Maybe it's not that bad to be a wizard. And then I have a flashback to, or I look down. I look down at bloodstained sleeve. And in any case, Lydia. Does Lydia have anything to say, to ask, to, or does she just scowl at me the whole way back?
No, she doesn't scowl or anything of that sort. She doesn't even ask you what your discussions with him were about. She makes pleasant chatter about the weather.
Yeah, I'll say so. Yeah, I'll ask. So who is that? Who is that knight next to Lord Song?
Her brow furrows when you say that. She says, "Oh, that's Sir Greller."
Greller.
Sir Greller.
An ominous name.
He is a rough sort of fellow. A keen fighter who also possesses a magical weapon. Two, in fact.
I mean, magic?
She smiles and kind of puts her halberd forward and says, "Yes, we are lucky enough to be blessed with a few magic weapons in this town. One of the reasons we can keep it so safe when we have so few to defend it."
Appraisingly. So the proficiency doesn't give me anything on.
On what? Engineering?
I mean, it just says you're certified to engineer things, including.
Oh, you're gonna need the combat and
engines
tactics.
And blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at now.
No.
Okay, cost. Wait.
The cost is in gold, I presume.
Yeah, but I assume that's not going to be my problem. but we'll find
Rate
out.
crew.
And
Where's their building times for these things?
that's what I couldn't find. And if like what the, I guess it invest.
War machines. Defense value.
Maybe they don't.
There may not be rules for this, which would be strange considering all the
There's
rules
like
that they have.
it might be in like that, like
Arms and
keeps
equipment?
fortresses. No, arms and equipment's just pretty pictures.
Oh, the castle builder's guide.
There's like a castle. Yeah, the castle builder's guy. That's what it is.
Well, I'm going to say that you can probably, if you have a crew with you, you can build a ballista. If you have all the men and supplies that you need, you ought to be able to build a ballista in like a week.
Yeah, that sounds quite. I'm like even accounting for lazy peasant labor.
Yeah, because if you've got
if
you've got the number of people and you're just directing and say, make me this beam and make me that thing and do this and do that.
Yeah, and even accounting for the no, you
right,
measured it wrong.
Right.
It was his foot, not her foot.
Right. If you have to do it yourself, or if you have not enough labor that people, not enough labor to work on multiple projects at the same time, I would increase the time. But he seems to be able to round up some labor for you.
Oh, are we
or at least promises to round up labor for you.
Okay. Yeah,
no, you've got some time.
Yeah. So I guess I head back to. I don't know. I guess I wander around town. It's still early in the day. I'm going to set out to starting to design this ballista, and I'll figure out the labor and the materials once I know the plan. Will we just roll a proficiency check like at the end of the week or at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
The player's handbook doesn't say anything about.
No, it's super general. I think I do have a check for it, but it's just like 2 paragraphs. Like you're qualified to build keeps, and you're
knows how to
qualified
construct and use siege weapons.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no mention of ballista anywhere else.
Simple machines, catapults, river locks, giant mills, or large fortresses and dams. Okay.
Yeah, cool. We'll be fine. So what would you like to do before your siege engine begins being built?
I want new pants.
You get your pants at the end
of the day. Can't be a badass
day.
wizard with. I guess maybe I don't even mind my bloodstains at this point. Do I get looks from the townsfolk?
No, the other people. Well, I mean, you've got the butcher in town. He's covered with blood all the time. You get some looks, but mostly because you're an out-of-towner, you presume. Oh no. My connection is unstable. Ryan has no more audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There we go.
My internet crapped out for a second there.
Cool.
So, okay.
So by the time you get back to town, a knight rides through, the same Sir Greller as before, tells you that he will meet you at your inn in a few hours with labor for you.
Okay. That seems super weird. Like, this is like literally like 20 minutes after. Oh, I guess it was a couple hours. Okay.
Like 45 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So he hung out for an hour. They gossiped about me, and then he
discussed plans, and he rode in on his horse.
Okay.
And then
cool. Where does he find? So he finds me like on the road, like as we're getting back to town, or he rides past us.
And then he takes off to the east, down the road.
Okay.
Before you got into Misty Rapids, you did pass a few other villages or trails that would lead off to villages. It's little signposts in the ground. on the world map for everyone, for everybody, the world map doesn't show every single station. It shows you. Why don't we actually change that so we can see everything? It shows the major towns and cities. It doesn't list every village around. So if this is Misty Rapids, you are kind of covered in little villages to the south, east, and southwest. Like out here and over here, there's villages all over the place. Same thing when you get to Cauldron, there's just going to be villages all around it, and there'll be villages in between. We're just marking the major settlements on these maps. No one really cares about the smaller villages.
Fuck peasants, am I right?
Mm-hmm. Although there's plenty to do if you want to go scouring around little villages. They don't have strong militaries and need adventurers' help more than the townsfolk usually. But there's also nothing to do in villages. Nothing to buy. They won't have any supplies. Anyway.
Okay. So after that short encounter with Sir Greller,
Greller.
yeah, was he just like super curt with his message? He was just like, "What up? Men are coming. Peace out. Bye."
Yeah, a little more gruff.
Maybe a little more formal. All right, interesting. So maybe that's where I had turned to Sir Lydia and gotten her disapproving face when I asked about Sir Greller.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we make our way back into Misty Rapids.
You get back to Misty Rapids, and you...
I find a nice pub to do my work, and then meet up back at my hotel in a couple of hours.
All right. We can just skip on forward to that. You get back to First Falls Inn.
I think I'm going to find a... I'll probably work at one of the... Because this is just an inn, right? There's no common room. So I will hang out in... I guess the Bad Fish is the only one that I know of.
Yeah, there's also the Bait and Tackle and Jexel's.
Okay, I would have heard of these or something.
If you mentioned anything at all, being like, "Hey, or what other places are around?" You can. You know, they're not hard to find.
Let's try our luck with Jexel's.
Okay. Jexel's, named after Jexel, the god of luck and wine.
Is this at the top of the hill?
Yes, it's by the main road.
Slope up towards the temple.
It is kind of a rough and tumble sort of place. You see broken crockery lying around on the ground. There's some hay everywhere to kind of just soak up the things that spill without actually having to mop anything around. There's all sorts of peanut shells all over the place. Greasy plate glass windows that haven't been cleaned maybe ever.
What was the Bad Fish like again? Is that a more civilized establishment?
Slightly more civilized, yes. The only thing is that Jexel's has a balcony, or not a balcony, a porch. An outside porch that has like a nice seating area with a view of the river. But the inside is...
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, that sounds more... So I probably poke my head inside and just immediately flag down. Is there a barmaid or barkeep? Or...
There is a busty barmaid walking about.
Okay, yeah. I flag her down, order a pint of stout, and immediately just walk right back out of that dingy place and sit on the porch.
Yeah.
Enjoying my beer as I draft up the plans to
you can hear all sorts of crass comments being lobbed at the barmaid from inside. You know, people making cat calls and probably pulling at her skirt or something and making yells, but she...
Georg was still quite polite to her.
Yeah, she seems to manage well enough on her own.
And yeah. So, what do my beers cost me? And I guess we'll roll up the proficiency check later, but
2 copper each.
Yeah, that's nice. I'll have to just give her a silver. I probably just give her a whole silver unless she brings me change at the end. And I do have 2 pieces of parchment. I've got my ink and stuff. So yeah, I get started on those plans.
Okay. And then sometime later, you meet up with Sir Greller, who has rounded up 30 peasants for you.
Mm-hmm.
They're wearing sandals and are carrying tools over their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And he directs you that
Yeah.
all the work shall be done in the keep.
So this, you said, sorry, this is, I was thinking about, I was managing character sheets.
This was Sir
Um,
Greller.
so Greller does, okay, so he does meet there. It's not just a bunch of peasants.
Right, he meets with a bunch of peasants, tells
When
you
I,
all that all the work will be done in the keep, and that the peasants will have to go from their house to the keep every day and be there by sunup in order to work on the ballista. And when one of them protests that he lives a couple miles outside of Misty Rapids and that the keep is another few miles, he just goes, "Well, you'd better wake up early then."
I like this guy too. This place is full of terrible, terrible people. It's like, yeah. All right. And oppressed peasants. And all of their names are Bob, right? How many Bobs do we got gathered on this fine misty morning?
You have 2
Misty
dozen.
afternoon. 2 dozen. That's probably more labor than I even need. Let's put a bigger ballista. Oh, it's no. Light ballista is the only one that can target any. Okay. You can build more than one. 2 dozen people? I guess there's no rules established for how. That seems like a lot of people to be working on one ballista.
But at the same time, it takes a cup like to plane wood back in the
Oh
day.
yeah, yeah. And
You know,
we
it's
probably
like-
got to go. Do we have to chop wood too?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a lot of work to be done. Everything has to be done
Is Sir
by
Greller
hand.
loitering around, or does he like say you got to be there by sunup? Oh, I guess we're. Are we going there now, or are we
Yeah,
meeting there tomorrow?
he wants you guys to head there now so you can survey the areas and you can mark out yada 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 and give them orders and get the process started. And then he just tells you guys to go off, and he rides off and eventually catches up with you guys and tells you that there is 2 oxen pulling some felled trees behind you that will be making it to the keep before sundown. And then he takes off again.
All right, boys, let's get walking.
Okay.
Who wants jerky?
All right. You guys make it to the keep, and I guess go to work. You are provided with some food and drink partway through, but when the peasants stop their toils, whatever it is that they're doing, to go join you, they're snapped at by Sir Greller saying, "If you didn't pack your own lunches, then you're an idiot. This is for the engineer. Get back to work, you lazy peasant."
So is Sir Greller there the whole time, or does he just show up with lunch and he's like?
No, he doesn't show up with lunch. Another servant comes out with lunch.
Yeah.
You're kind of overseeing things, and then Sir Greller is behind you overseeing things. And then up in the tower is
So very, very micromanaged. Sir Greller's like there on my, like watching me the whole time.
he's
or
there
is-
to make sure no one steps out of line.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
watching everything.
Yeah. This place, these kooky bastards. All right. All right. So lunch is brought for me, but not for the poor slaves. I mean peasants.
You're right.
Free men, right?
Free labor.
Free men. Yeah, free labor. All right. Is lunch notable, or was that just notable that I was the only one that got it?
Just notable that you were the only one that got it, and the others were rebuked for not remembering to bring lunch on the day that they were ordered to hike to this place and work all day in the sweltering sun.
I'm not here to liberate these peasants.
Nope.
Maybe liberate their souls. We'll see.
So is there anything that you would like to say or do, or anything other than just ballista building for the next week? We can just skip on to the end, or skip through as far as we can, if there's nothing else you want to do.
We keep doing these ballista building montages. I don't think that's what I do all. And I think once I've like made the plans, I mean, it almost seems like Sir Greller's like, yeah, like I can kick back and pull Sir Greller and be like, "Work harder, you slaves."
Kind of. I mean, there's still a lot of micromanaging to be done.
Mm-hmm.
these guys they're
Yeah,
decent enough workers. I mean,
yeah.
they're
No,
they're competent human beings. You know, they're just because they're peasants doesn't make them complete idiots. They've all built
yeah,
their own houses and whatnot.
yeah.
But for some of these finer points, they do need your
Yeah. So
insight.
yeah, I stay. I during the days I stay pretty active with the building. I'm a handyman as well. I do have a blacksmithing proficiency. I don't know if there's any metal bit. There's probably screws and things on the ballista, I would guess. And if not, I will see to screws and things to make it more sturdy,
Okay.
like on the frame and wheels. How are you gonna do wheels? I mean, you gonna make all that out of wood? That's a pain in the ass. No, I make that
Big
out of
wooden
metal. I,
wheels.
I assume they have a forge of some kind,
Yes.
a smithery at the keep, or no?
Not at the keep. Their smithies are. There's a disused and smithy at the keep that would probably take a few days and some more labor and some more money to get up and running.
I think I would like to get it up and running at the same. So I mean, there's yeah. I was thinking that 2 dozen people is too much for the ballista, or I'll say the ballista needs metal. We're getting this smithy fired up, and so once the ballista's underway, like once we've done all the planing of
Hmm.
the timber, I'll like split the group in half. Not probably not even in half. Probably you said there were two
Okay.
dozen,
Yeah, like
so it'd probably be like 15 on the ballista. Or
the
ballista and the other.
anvil's all rusted. It needs to be like cleaned off. The actual smithy's slightly fallen apart. It needs a new roof. It needs new this. Needs a new that. Some of the tools are missing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to
Yeah, so I think I'm going to try and try and lump this into with the same job
okay,
and
give me
just
a
the
charisma
same
check to
peasants and
persuade them to put up the money for the replace fixing the smithy.
oh,
Because
is
they, you know,
charisma.
this is relatively free labor. They still have to.
Yeah,
The peasants aren't theirs to just order about forever.
22. So I think what happens is I just do it, and there's probably a confrontation where Sir Greller's like, or like by proxy, Lord Song by proxy through Sir Greller's like, what are you doing getting over here in the smithy? You're supposed to blah blah blah. And I'll be like, we need metal. We need screws. Getting the smithy up and running. And they're like,
Okay,
grumble, grumble, grumble. Just let me do it.
sure.
And so maybe it adds time to the job.
It'll add some time and it'll add some money.
Yeah.
But they
Not,
don't
not
complain
my
too
not my
heavily.
money. And I don't think it's actual money. It's like they've got to like they're probably digging into their iron stores, which are as good as cash, or and they maybe has to trade some coin for
For some supplies, like they'll have to go
yeah.
into town to buy some tools to replace the tools that are missing, and
Sure.
the peasants have to do X amount of hours, days of work for this person. So you're using up his labor for later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
So not
Yeah.
straight up coin, but definitely wealth
Yeah,
in a
but
more
he gets
abstract
a
sense.
forge out of the deal.
Yeah. All right, so it's going
I,
to take a week and a few days. So we're
yeah.
just going to say 9 days total.
Okay.
And at the end of your
Um,
9 days,
yeah. I think I do spend my evening or my nights in town at one or more of the pubs and strutter and I have fresh clean clothes now. Oh,
mm-hmm,
excuse me.
you have
That are
two
not
sets of
blood stained.
clothes.
Two
Mm-hmm.
sets of clothes. Look at me moving up in the world. Rolling an
Engineering
engineering check.
check, which should be intelligence based. So
Yes.
as long as you don't roll a
There.
1, you should be fine.
No, because there is a penalty. So I've got written down 15. So it'll go up to 16 with the amulet.
Okay, so you need a
33.
4. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's like int with a penalty.
yeah.
Int at
Excellent.
-3 it must be, but I nail it.
At
Would
the
you
end
like
of
a
the
blacksmithing
9 days.
too, or is that
What?
is there? Do you want a blacksmithing too, or is that?
Yeah. Yeah, might as well.
I think that's more. That may actually be more for the labor.
Actually, just none of
Ooh,
blacksmithing. Give me another engineering to see if you can get the
okay.
blacksmith back up and
If
running.
that were an engineering, it would be a 16, which would make that a
Okay.
pass, a plus 16.
Okay,
I get a
sure.
24.
Cool. So you do get the
Um,
blacksmith shop up and running again. You
yeah,
get
and I
the
think I make like a first screw, and I'm like, oh, I'm too weak for this. This skill is strength based, and I hand
Mhm.
it off to the peasants to make the bolts and screws or whatever.
Yeah, I think most blacksmithing things you don't. If you're making a horseshoe, you don't need to make a blacksmithing check. You make a fucking
You might be
horseshoe. But
right.
when
Yeah,
you're making swords and other complicated,
well,
delicate things,
weaponsmithing is its own thing,
okay.
and so is armor smithing.
When
And
Well,
not
whatever.
important.
Fine. When you're making shovels and
Hmm.
plows, you might have to make a check. But for basic, like for making a nail, you don't need to do that.
Hmm.
Screws might be.
Is there anything relevant that happens throughout the week, or are we just do we want to fast forward to the end? I should at least be paying for my lodging and food, or is he covering that as
No,
well?
you were paying for everything,
Yeah,
you except for your lunch. And on the last day, he invites you to sup with him.
and I
But
think
other
that's
than
where we're
that,
gonna.
you're paying, I think, 3 copper a day for your room. And they'll sell you some food for another 2 silver. That's how they get you. Cheap lodgings, but expensive food. That's how they
What
always
did you
get
say?
you.
3 copper for the room, and then
Yeah, I'm double checking that price right now.
I think I gave a.
No, I'm sorry.
I
It's
gave.
5 copper a night for your room,
Holy shit!
and
I accidentally picked the crummy inn in town.
yeah,
I guess that wasn't an accident. They.
no, you intentionally
I
picked
was,
the crummy inn to
yeah.
keep a low profile. So 5 copper a night and one
I
silver a
think.
day for food. But it's like shitty, poor food. You're getting
I
like
think I would
gruel.
upgrade midweek. I think I would spend. I had paid gold, so I think I will like spend the gold. How long does that get me at food and lodge? Was there food at Bait and Tackle?
Yeah. So after
I
4 days, you've spent 6 silver.
No, I think I would have probably moved even before that and upgraded to the Fog View Inn.
All right, so give them 3 silver for two
Okay.
days there, and then the
I had already
fog
paid the
view.
gold. I think the gold is a lot. Remember, I like handed him right. Did I hand him the
Yeah, well,
gold?
you if you say you're checking out, he'll give you change.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
not a thief.
Eh. All right. Fog View Inn.
And the fog view is 3 silver a night. No, 3 silver for food, and 5 silver a night for lodgings.
So 8 total. 8
Yeah,
times 9 is
8 times 7 because you
72.
spent 2 days at the other one.
Oh, you're right. You're right. 8 times 7 is 56. Oops. It's 56 silver.
Mm-hmm.
Doing some math. Alrighty. Living it up.
And the fog view is much nicer. It's right near the main temple. It's got a gorgeous view of the river, and you can see at night as the mist like flows over the town and covers the entire town. By your calculations, the river water must still be warm even this far down from the cauldron, miles and miles from the cauldron. Water is still
Yeah.
somehow warm, at least warm enough to produce these waves of fog in the evening.
So cool.
I want to
Wow.
live there.
I know you. This oppressive Lord song.
Yeah, I'll be
This
Lord
ish.
Song. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I'll be your Georg.
Yeah. Actually, I don't want to be Lord Song. I'll work in one of the inns, and that'll be fine.
So there is one more thing I want to think about, or at least keep my ear to the rumor mill, and that's displacer beasts. I don't know if this is going to be something that I'll hear about, but it's something that I'm thinking about. So if is there a library in this town, or
There's no library.
yeah,
This is the. Well, I guess you've only been in 4 towns. You've been through a few villages. This is only your 4th town, but this is by far the poorest, shittiest town of any of the towns you've been in.
the one that I found the most friendly,
Yeah. Friendly?
or at least accepting of me.
Yeah.
All right. So, no one's talking about displacer beasts. What about burning witches? Are they talking about burning witches? Do they seem to have the mistrust of magic that they did in the?
Yes.
Okay.
People seem to mistrust magic, but they often, some of the favorite stories are talking about the magic weapons of the knights of Sir Lydia and Sir Greller.
Well, who do you think made those magic weapons?
Look, that's like
Sir Lydia's halberd is also magic. I gather that.
yes, yes. Sir Lydia's halberd is called Night Slicer.
Oh, Night.
Yes, Night. And Sir Greller's two blades are Bellum's Whisker for his broadsword and Demon's Eye for his dagger. His knife. I'm sorry, not dagger, knife.
And all I got's a Carl. Have I detected magic on Carl yet? I think I would have done that over the course of the week.
You also find out that Sir Greller has enchanted armor as well. It's not named, but people refer to his armor as magical many times.
Okay. All right. So I do heal. I heal the 2 HP I had lost, and I will at some point cast a detect magic on Carl the dagger.
Carl the dagger is magical.
He is.
He is just as
Here I just-
magical as you are.
And here, do I get a read on the sphere, or is it just like a?
I think that's 10% per level. What level are you?
Yes, 4.
That's a D8. Let's try it with a D10. You do not get a read.
Okay. That's I thought here. I thought you were just making steel so badass that it would feel like magic, but.
Well, that may be the case as well. You wouldn't notice because you're not wearing any bronze anything, but this was also magical.
Magic daggers. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay. All right. I think in all this magic talk, I probably forget about Displacer Beasts. Unless someone happens to mention it, but that's just—I think that's a standing request. Yeah.
Do you ever go out of your way to look for information, or do you just passively wait for it to come in?
I would like to be active about it, but I don't. I mean, I guess maybe after getting a feel for this town, whatever you'd call it,
Town.
over the first couple of days, I would probably be more comfortable asking about something kooky like, yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a Displacer Beast?
There are Displacer Beasts to the north, in the soggy hills on the other side of the river, the forest and hills beyond.
So if I were to wander into the woods and cast a Conjure Spell Component spell, would the Displacer Beast leather hop off of its skin and into my hand?
No.
Damn. Sorry, go on. You were telling me about the spooky woods to the north.
When you ask about, has anyone heard of Displacer Beasts? Whoever it is that you're talking to goes, yeah, they live in the soggy hills and in the wisp woods, but I wouldn't go anywhere near them if I were you. They're some of the most deadly creatures out there. Not to mention, the wisp woods are otherworldly.
I nod with probably an off-putting grin coming over
There
my
are
face.
these floating lights they call willow-wisps that live in the woods. Lots of them. Lots and lots of them. They look like a lantern light, maybe, or a torch light in the distance, but it's not. They feed off of your fear, they say. And the soggy hills are no better. They may have their home to Displacer Beasts and hill giants, not to mention other monstrous creatures. Wargs, trolls. They even have Medusas up there.
Are you just reading off the encounter tables?
Yes.
All right. Cool rumors.
Rumor has it there's some sort of lion with 3 heads, one of a goat, one of a dragon, and one of a lion that flies through the woods. I've never seen it, but I've heard one lives there.
A chimera. Well. All right.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, so we passed the week. I will have cast that Detect Magic. I think I'm going to switch to Comprehend Languages.
Well, they would have also mentioned something about the wisp woods have plants that will eat you alive.
So I can't discharge spells without
Without
casting
casting
them.
them. Correct.
And if I don't have a spell component for the spell, it's stuck in my brain forever.
You could miscast it, I guess.
So like start cast. I mean, I guess practice it without a spell component. And
Yeah, you could try it without a spell component. Just
is there a chance for miserable failure if I do something like that, or is it? Can I just?
probably. You know, anytime that you're miscasting magic, things can go wrong.
Yeah, I think I would like to get Displace Self out of my head because it seems like Displacer Beast what leather is going to take some questing.
Can you? What level
Actually,
are
no, no.
you?
I actually hold on. I take that back because I need 2 second level spells, right? Oh no, I can downgrade as long as I have 1 second level spell in my sphere. Okay, yeah. So I will try and
What level are you, Ryan?
level 4.
Please roll me a d20.
We're doing a wild surge.
We're checking on the wild surge table to see if you incur
20,
wild
20.
surge.
I don't think that actually means.
No, 19 is your number. If you were level 1, that would hit it.
If I were a wild mage, that would be mad bonus dice.
That'd be
Bonus level.
+2 to the casting level on your wild surge.
All right, so I burn my displaced self. I'll swap it for comprehend languages in case I run into any giants. I want my displacer beast leather.
All right, the ballista is built, and you have built a number of bolts as well.
Rate of fire is 1 every 8 rounds.
Yes. It takes a crew of 1 to operate, I believe.
Yes. But will hopefully have some backup on this harebrained expedition.
Yes.
So did you say? Okay, so did you say that I supped with the Lord?
You will sup with Lord Noken. Just trying to open up the siege warfare tables for later use. Here we go.
I think I just roll at Thaco 18. Yeah.
So after the thing is built, he has you dine with him. You find out that over the course of this week, you found out that he is a bachelor. He inherited these lands after his parents died. His father was poisoned, and then his mother died in a riding accident, which appeared to have been, by all the people's account, it appears to have been just a normal accident. But you can tell that the way that they say it, it sounds like he doesn't believe it was a riding accident.
Wait, say that again?
The Lord does not believe his mother was killed in a riding accident. He believes foul play after his father was poisoned. The rest of the town kind of just goes, well, whatever, accidents happen, and this guy's just paranoid. But you have dinner with him the night that everything is finished. It is just he and you seated at this fairly large table. Sir Greller, his personal bodyguard and captain of his entire guard, stands watch from a respectful distance behind him. Servants bring you a little bit of food here and there. Over the course of the week, you've noticed he's got about 10 men-at-arms, plus Sir Greller and Sir Crystal, who is his gatekeeper, which seems to be a rank that you have encountered in each town you've been through. It seems that every town has like a knight who is appointed the gatekeeper of the keep or something. It's definitely foreign to your notions of nobility.
So Thornwood. I guess Thornwood was the only walled city I went through.
Yes.
So you're saying Thornwood had
a gatekeeper as well. You hung out in Shirebrook for a long time. We kind of just glossed over.
There was no
details.
gate. Oh, there was a okay. Yeah,
there was a gate for the keep itself. The town didn't have a wall.
Okay. I met with the conjurer.
Aldrich the conjurer.
I've got it written down.
Aldrich
the conjurer.
Yes.
Yeah, the Baroness's council.
You did indeed pass the gatekeeper there as well. Anyway, you were brought to dinner with this man one night.
Last night we have a successful ballista. We probably demonstrated it for him just now, or have we not done that yet?
I presume you successfully test fired it.
Yeah, I don't need to roll a 1 again. We can just say that it fires just fine.
Yeah.
I'd probably let him fire the first shot if he wanted to.
He doesn't want to. He wants to
Okay.
see an expert use it.
Oh, okay. In that case,
Um,
the expert can't use
yeah.
it. It takes some tuning.
Okay. Anyway, so he sits you down at dinner. Food is served. Him first, and he immediately digs in without even waiting for you. And he looks up from his slurping and his like shoveling his food into his face to give you a look and says, "So, Mr. Engineer, you reckon this ballista of yours will kill a gargoyle?"
I hadn't even stopped to think about that. Is there any sort of lore check to roll? Like,
Do you have any sort of...
I have spellcraft. If gargoyles are magical creatures, could I maybe roll that to see if I would know if they're only damageable by magic or if...
Yeah, give me a spellcraft check. We'll just see how that turns out.
Yeah, I think I'm having this real. So I guess it's have I. Must be. No, I think I have like my jaw drops and I'm like, I don't know what the deal is with these gargoyles. Can you kill them with the ballista? I must confess, my lord, I don't know. And
He
I sort of
stops,
smile, probably
puts his food
inappropriately.
down, and says, "You mean you've spent the last week building this ballista and it may not even work?
The ballista will work.
There were hundreds of man hours put into this project."
Trust me, Lord Song.
Hmm.
If the ballista doesn't fell the gargoyles, I will find another way.
What other way
I,
is there?
and smile reassuredly.
I have sent my best knight
eating.
to slay it, and instead it slayed him.
Sir Greller is not your best. I like leaning closer so that Sir Greller can't hear anymore. Maybe you couldn't
Sir
hear it.
Greller is a fine knight, and the replacement for his predecessor.
Well,
Servant gets a fire going in the
yeah,
hearth.
yeah. If I might ask, when did these gargoyles first show up at the barrows?
Wipes his short beard on his shirt because they showed up about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months. Not sure why, not sure exactly when. We went to pay our respects to my dear father last month on the anniversary of his death, and found strange statues sitting about. It's not like statues to just appear in the middle of nowhere. We're not fools. So I sent one of my men to investigate. He was ripped to shreds before our eyes. That's when I sent out my best knight. Even he could not take out these foul beasts. Didn't even seem that they were wounded. They say magic may be the only way to harm them. And while Sir Greller here does possess not one but 2 magic blades, I would not risk his life. If something were to happen to him, we would truly be defenseless. And this could very well be a ploy by our enemies to lure my strong men away from me.
What about a strong woman? I laugh as well. I think it was a joke. So, it appears you've pissed off a very powerful wizard, or your father did. Am I presuming too much, my lord?
These people work from the shadows. They hide their intentions and their goals. I have no idea who these people are. But they're there. My father paid with his life, and so did my mother. I have only kept them at bay with my wit and my caution. He takes some bread and runs it through his trencher, scarfs it down, pushes it back, and says, "Another!" Slams his hand on the table. The servant brings him some more wine and another trencher full of stew with a big loaf of bread. He digs back in, meat juices dripping off of his hairy chin.
Well, Lord Song, I must admit this is the first I've ever heard of. I mean, I've heard of gargoyles, but actual gargoyles, cursed statues. This is peculiar indeed.
I sent one of my men to the library, the great library, in order to find what he could. This is the information he returned with. It says that they may not be damaged but by magical means. That they were statues animated once by a mad wizard who then propagated their own species. Can you imagine that? Stones breeding. It's an absurd notion, but absurdities are what we face these days.
Breeding. Wouldn't a magical construct replicating itself?
I would laugh, but apparently their gnomes and kobolds replicate. That seems just as absurd to me. I asked the king of Stromheim to send me his court wizard to deal with these beasts. He never returned my reply. You see here, Sir Engineer, we are all alone in Misty Rapids. No one cares for us, and we must find our own way, no matter the cost.
Yes, I have seen you are a hardy people. You've earned my respect.
Eridon is by far the strongest kingdom in Arcadia. And yet, people forget that the kingdom is only as strong as its weakest link. People turn inward and focus on greed. They forget that without each other, we are all lost. Dark times are coming ahead, Sir Engineer. Dark times are coming. Is there anything else in particular you would like to say or do? We can skip through dinner if there's nothing else.
I think I'm still not. I still don't feel like telling this guy that I'm a wizard. It might come out in the gargoyle fight, but if he finds out I'm a wizard, I'm never leaving. I'm going to be chained up in this guy's grape dungeon. I would like to say, so in case the ballista doesn't finish the job, in all seriousness, I would request that someone with a magic blade be at the ready. Perhaps Sir Lydia?
What is the range of your ballista?
11d squares. What is that? 11 is...
Yeah, but that's kind of bullshit. You should compare that to the range of a bow and then adjust, because the combat and tactics uses the grid scale, which makes everything a lot shorter. Like a longbow range is 100 feet or something using the grid system, but it's like 300 feet not using the grid system, and we're not using the grid.
Okay.
So we should adjust appropriately.
Check longbow then?
Yes, a longbow with a sheath arrow has a max range of 34 squares.
So it looks like it's about the same range as a short bow. A little longer than a short bow. Instead of 10, 20, 30, it's 11, 22, 33.
A short bow is 10, 20, 36.
I'm like, what? No.
Oh, I'm looking at composite. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 11, 22, 33. So so that's like 150 feet maybe in
I'm gonna look up
HP.
the short bow and then
Yeah.
adjust. We'll get these numbers figured out.
So I think he asks me this simple question, and then I
198 feet is your range.
have this
No,
conversation in my head with myself.
no,
190 feet
no. I
is your
lied.
range.
165 feet is your range. Is your max range.
Okay. What happens when you shoot a magically protected gargoyle with a giant bolt, the trunk of a tree? Find out after this break.
See you guys on the other side. Bye bye.